Game review, Pillars of Eternity. You can see this hasn't been played for several months. Let's try to load the top one. Your game is corrupt and cannot be retrieved. Yeah, that's not my fault. That's the game's fault. I have drift on this controller. Okay, so let's go to the autosave. It's only a 5-minute difference. Will the autosave load? Let's find out here. All right, now note the progress bar. It's going to get to about halfway, and then the game's just going to stop. These loading times get worse and worse and worse as this game goes on. This game's got, what, like 150 hours invested into just this single campaign, this one playthrough. It was my second time. Now the bar won't even progress. It's just going to get stuck. So this is going to be my video review of Pillars of Eternity on PS4. It's going to be this screen. Do not buy this game. Do not play this game. This is just shameful that this was released for the PlayStation 4. They didn't test it adequately enough. You can go through it on the easiest. I went through it on the easiest. I guess I completed the game, even though I really didn't. There was a lot it didn't do. But it just, if you try to do everything, the game can't. It just can't. It just can't. It can't load. It can't play. Everything just starts slowing down tremendously. I'm just gonna leave this up. See how long this goes for. It's too bad. It's while I was playing it, it was a lot of fun, an interesting story. I don't like all of there's kickstarting names that have some story with it, but you don't have to read any of that. So I don't understand the point in that. It's just made up and doesn't really add anything. If I was one of those contributors, I'd be furious. But if the Kickstarter was meant just to get it on PC, fine. But whoever paid for this, if it wasn't from the company, they should be furious. And if it was just from the company, if it's Obsidian, Paradox, whoever it is who's responsible for this, shame on them. They released a product that's a total piece of shit. So they're not going to be I'm not going to do business with them ever again, no matter what they make. They can go fuck themselves. This is just bad. I got this game used over the summer for $15.95. Got a lot of hours out of it and a lot of enjoyment, but a lot more frustration because this, as you can tell, and this is a typical screen. When I was, over 100 hours or whatever, I had to have another game on at the same time as this because you'd load all the time. You'd go in another room, from one room to another, you'd load, and the loading would just take 2 minutes and another 2 minutes. So I'd have another game on the Switch just always going because this game is constantly loading. I did download. Well, I don't know why they offer downloads. We can download something for this game for the PS4. I don't know what it didn't make any difference with the loads. The loads are just as bad. So that was data used for nothing. The screen is just now. I've waited with this for about 10-15 minutes and then just I pulled the plug on it back then. I closed it down. Yes, this is a perfect review for Pillars of Eternity on PS4. Because all you're going to see is this screen. That's it. Nothing else. Very disappointing game. Hmm. And this is all just off the cuff. I'm a professional game reviewer. No, I review chess, uh, but this is definitely not that. We're over 5 minutes now. For this video, I don't know about this screen, but it should be pretty close. This diagram is also not laid out properly. I don't know who edited this, but if you look to the bottom right, it's going to have press in brackets and then toggle camera follow. There's no space between that bracket and the uppercase T. Don't people look at this stuff? Their spacing is inconsistent. I don't know who edited this, but it was sloppily done. Just like a lot of the rest of this, wow, this game just can't, it just, the game can't support what it's trying to deliver for whatever the reason. I don't know the skinny about it. As you can see, there's been no change in the bar. The loading, big L on the bottom right, that hasn't, those lines around the square, they go around, that stopped. The loading icon in the upper left has, it'll come in and come out. It's just frozen there. Controller works, system works. The game doesn't work. How long am I going to sit with this for? I'm not going to sit here for an hour. I'll leave it up for 10 minutes. And I'm kind of rooting for it to load and kind of rooting for it not to load. So it's a win-win situation for me. The longer it takes to load, if it does load, the worse it looks. And if it just never loads, the worse it looks as well. The voice acting was pretty good in this game. Yeah, there's no change whatsoever. In the only playthrough I ever was allowed to finish from this game, beat the final boss, and the game tells you that you've, I think, completed the game or defeated the game, but then there was all these other quests that I hadn't done that all interrelate with each other, which was just a disaster story-wise for my playthrough. A lot of bad things happened to a lot of folks who I was supposed to be taking care of. So that was kind of surprising. The game gives you this trophy, like, oh, yeah, you beat the game. And then all this bad shit happened that was entirely my fault. So that was a little bit of an up and down. Still no change in any of this. We'll go another minute, and that'll be about 10 minutes or so. So this is my review. Pillars of Eternity for PS4. They call it Pillars of Eternity because it takes an eternity to load the fucking game. That's why it's called Pillars of Eternity. Had they done a better job, what would they, let's see, how could they better title this game? Loading for Eternity. There you go. Loading for Eternity for PlayStation 4. This is the whole game right here. You hold the controller and you have to imagine the game in your head. You have to look at the box art. The cover, it doesn't show anything. It's just a bunch of nothing. And then the back, which so you have two pictures and a drawing to use your imagination with for loading for Eternity for the PlayStation 4. So what is it? 505 games. Screw you. I have all the requirements. One player, hard drive, not a problem. The space. Yeah, there's no other mention of any requirements that I am lacking. IGN gave this 9 out of 10. Did you play it on PS4? Or is it, a lot of these reviewing outfits, they don't really review. They'll just, who's their buddy? Oh, it gets 10 out of 10. Oh, we're chummy with them. They're not going to give an honest review. They just, it's all politics. Game Informer gave this 92. They're idiots. The Escapist, I want to escape this game. In fact, I think I know how. So as you can see, no progress in the loading. We've been waiting for 10 minutes, and this still can't load. So we're going to shut it down. This has been my review for loading for Eternity for the PlayStation 4. Do not buy this game. Do not play this game. Do not support 505 Games or Obsidian or Paradox Studios for supporting. And then they released this. This should not have been released. They need better testing. They need better management. They need a better overall procedure for porting games to the PlayStation 4. Shame on them. Thank you for watching.